Madhyana Timarandasya Jnana Anjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Trinadapi Sunichena Tarar Iva Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Hare Nama Hare Nama Hare Nama Eva Kibalam Kalau Nastiva 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 Gatir Anya Ha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Hari Harayi Namaha. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Mahabharata, Chapter 7, The Pandavas Sent Away, Part 3. Not far from where the brothers had stopped was a massive shala tree in which lived a Rakshasa named Hidimba. Hidimba had slept through the day and was just awakening as the Pandavas were falling asleep. Yawning and stretching his enormous arms, Hidimba sniffed the nighttime air, and at once he could detect the scent of humans nearby. Hidimba sat up quickly and called out to his sister, who also lived on the same tree. "Hidimbi, wake up! I smell human flesh. Oh, it has been such a long time since we tasted our favorite food. Why, my mouth is already watering. So quickly go, find the humans, and after killing them, bring them here. Tearing their necks with my long fangs, I shall quaff their hot, foaming blood, and both of us shall eat our fill and then dance happily." The Rakshasa woman Hidimbi shook her long orange hair and opened her blood-red eyes. She cackled and laughed and looked at the long claws protruding from her black fingers. Hidimbi and her brother had often slain and eaten hapless travelers. Swinging down from the branch, silently she went through the trees, following the scent. Within a few minutes, Hidimbi arrived at the spot where the Pandavas were sleeping. The Rakshasi saw the invincible Bheema seated nearby. As soon as her eyes fell upon him, Hidimbi's heart was moved with desire. Prince Bheema looked like a god. His skin was the color of molten gold, and his shoulders resembled those of a lion. Bheema's neck resembled a conch shell, and his eyes were like large lotus petals. Hidimbi decided immediately that Bheema should be her husband. Now, if she killed him, she and her brother would enjoy the brief pleasure of eating Bheema's flesh. But if Hidimbi united with Bheema, then her pleasure would be even far greater. Thus, deciding to ignore her brother's order, Hidimbi assumed the form of a beautiful woman, decorated with celestial ornaments and clothed in crimson silks. Hidimbi walked slowly up to Bheema. With a bashful smile, she said, "Oh, best of men, who are you? And what brings you to this dark and dangerous forest? Who are these godlike men lying on the ground? And who is that woman of transcendent beauty lying with them?" Bheema looked at her in surprise. Was she the forest deity? What was such a beautiful woman doing alone at night in such a place? Bheema listened carefully as Hidimbi continued. "This forest belongs to my brother Hidimba, a powerful man-eating Rakshasa. With the intention of eating your flesh, my brother has sent me here to kill you." Hidimbi raised her hand as Bheema suddenly stood up. "Oh, do not fear. I have been smitten with desire upon seeing you, you who are as handsome as a god. Please accept me as your wife, for I am being victimized by Cupid's shafts. But I will save you from my brother, for I will carry you through the sky far away from Hidimba. Then we can enjoy together in a nice celestial mountain region." Bheema sat down once again. He shook his head. "O Rakshasi, how do you expect me to abandon my sleeping mother and brothers simply to gratify my lust?" Hidimbi looked down at the sleeping Pandavas and Kunti. "Wake them up, for I shall carry you all away from this place." Bheema simply shook his head again. "I shall not wake my mother and brothers out of fear of any Rakshasa. Why, there is no Rakshasa, Yaksha or Gandharva able to withstand my strength. Oh, beautifully shaped lady, you may stay or go as you please. Or if you like, you may send your man-eating brother to me." And as they were speaking together, Hidimba was becoming impatient. Where was his foolish sister? Why had she not returned? Hidimba jumped down from the tree and moved towards the human scent. Hidimbi sensed her brother's approach, and she became alarmed. She pleaded with Bheema, "Please, do not argue with me. My brother is coming. Do not tarry here and become his meal. Wake the others up and allow me to rescue all of you." Bheema simply smiled. "Oh, this cannibal presents no problem for me. Indeed, I shall kill him here before your very eyes. Do not consider me an ordinary human being. My 2 arms are like the trunks of mighty elephants, and my thighs resemble iron clubs. My prowess is no less than that of Indradeva himself. I fear nothing." Hidimbi was still doubtful. She had seen the Rakshasa giants prove their superiority over humans on many occasions. The Rakshasas were more on a level with the Celestials than with humans. It was a rare human indeed who could overpower a Rakshasa. Bheema then looked over Hidimbi's shoulder and saw her brother approaching. Hidimba was as dark as a rain cloud, and he had hideous features. His ears were shaped like arrows, and the bushy, thick mass of red hair on his head stood erect. His powerful body, clad in a loincloth, was covered in wiry red hair. Hidimba was as tall as a tree and had broad shoulders. His arms, thick like tree trunks, reached down to his knees. His huge mouth was open, revealing rows of fearful fangs. Hidimba opened his crimson eyes in surprise as he saw his sister standing in a human form next to Bheema. Seeing her so beautifully bedecked with celestial ornaments, Hidimba immediately understood that his sister had become lustful toward the human. Hidimba spoke angrily.
Who is so foolish as to create obstacles for me when I am hungry? Oh, sister, have you become so senseless that you do not fear my anger? Fie upon you, O unchaste woman! Simply out of lust, you are ready to do me an injury and sacrifice the very honor of our race. So now I shall kill you along with these humans. Pressing his teeth together, Hidimba ran at his sister with his arms raised. Bheema stood up at once and stepped forward. His voice boomed out, "Stop! How dare you awaken my peacefully sleeping brothers? Nor should you attack this innocent woman. O wicked-minded one, your sister is not in control of herself. She has been brought under the control of Cupid. Therefore, she should not be punished."
Bheema smiled scornfully at the cannibal. Challenging him to a fight, the prince said, "Today you shall reach the land of the dead. I will pound your head to pieces. Your sister shall see me drag your mountain-like frame, even as a lion drags an elephant. Hawks, vultures, and jackals will then gleefully tear apart your corpse. Today, this forest shall be rendered safe for all travelers." Hidimba flared up. He laughed at Bheema's impudence, for he was only a human being. Advancing toward Bheema, the cannibal screamed, "What is the use of all this boasting? First accomplish something and then speak. You think yourself strong, but you shall learn the truth today. For now, your brothers may sleep peacefully. First I shall kill you, O foul-mouthed one, and after drinking your blood, then I will slay the others." The Rakshasa rushed at Bheema with his arms outstretched. Bheema immediately seized Hidimba's arms, and not wanting to disturb the sleeping of his brothers, dragged Hidimba away a full 32 cubits, just as a lion might drag away a small deer. Hidimba broke free from Bheema's hold and wrapped his own arms around Bheema. Hidimba tightened his grasp and tried to crush Bheema to death. But Bheema was unharmed. Even while held in the Rakshasa's powerful grip, Bheema pulled him still further away so that his terrible yells might not disturb the others. Bheema then burst free from Hidimba and clasped him in turn. The two fighters displayed their might as they lifted and hurled each other violently. They crashed about like two great elephants fighting for supremacy. Huge trees were smashed and splintered. The noise awoke the other princes and Kunti. They sat up and looked all around. They were astonished to see the extraordinarily beautiful Hidimbi. Kunti then addressed her with gentle words. "O celestial maiden, who are you? To whom do you belong? Why have you come to this forest? Are you the forest deity or perhaps an Apsara? Please tell me everything." Hidimbi explained who she was and how she had come to be standing there. Pointing to the two combatants, she said, "I have chosen your golden-hued and immensely powerful son as my husband. But greatly angered by this, my brother has attacked him. See now how they struggle together, man and Rakshasa, filling the forest with their roars." Yudhishthir and the other Pandavas stood up hastily and looked across at Bheema. He was pounding Hidimba with his fists, making a sound like thunderclaps. The Rakshasa pressed forward and reached for Bheema's neck with his large hands. As they grappled, a dust cloud rose and covered them. They appeared like two cliffs enveloped in mist. Then Arjuna ran over and with a smile on his lips said to his brother, "O mighty armed one, why did you not wake me? I can see that you are growing tired fighting this terrible Rakshasa. Rest now and I shall kill him. Nakula and Sahadev will protect our mother." Arjuna was taunting his brother only to incite his anger, and his words had the desired effect. Bheema blazed up with fury and replied, "You need only be a spectator, my dear brother. Have no fear. Now that this evil cannibal has entered my clutches, he shall not escape with his life." Arjuna urged Bheema to make haste. Twilight was approaching, and that meant the Rakshasa's strength would only be doubled. Bheema should kill him at once before he was able to use mystic powers and illusions to fight. Bheema then summoned his father Vayu's latent power. With a roar, he lifted the Rakshasa above his head. Whirling him around, Bheema said, "O cannibal, you have led a life of sin only. Your existence has been in vain. You therefore deserve an unholy death. So now I shall slay you like the beast you are, thereby freeing this forest from its thorny plant." Bheema whirled the Rakshasa 100 times, dashing him to the ground. Hidimba let out a terrible roar, which reverberated around the forest like a massive drum. Now, Hidimba was only semi-conscious. Bheema once again lifted him up, and by smashing him onto the trunk of a large shala tree, broke his back in two. Bheema then stood up and smiled at his brothers, who by this time had gathered all around him. They embraced Bheema, and looking at the lifeless form of the giant Rakshasa, congratulated Bheema for his most incredible feat. Mahabharata, Chapter 8, Ghatotkacha born and Baka slain. Part 1. Soon after Bheema had killed Hidimba, the sun rose and the brothers could see paths through the forest. They decided to continue south. They were bound to come to a town at some point. As they walked off with Kunti between them, Hidimbi followed behind. Bheema became concerned and said, "The Rakshasas are known to avenge themselves upon their enemies. They use deceptions and delusions. Therefore, O Hidimbi, you shall go the way your brother has gone." Bheema turned menacingly toward Hidimbi. He did not fear her in the least, but wished only to scare her away before she could try any trickery. But Yudhishthir stopped his younger brother. "Oh, Bheema, you should never kill a woman even in anger. The attainment of virtue is always a higher duty than the protection of one's body. Besides this, what harm can this woman do to us? For you have already slain her more powerful brother." Hidimbi folded her palms to Yudhishthir and thanked him. She approached Kunti with tears in her eyes and said, "O noble lady, you know well the suffering of a woman afflicted by desire. The god of love has pierced me with his shafts, and I am consumed with desire for your son, Bheema. If he does not accept me as his wife, then I will not be able to live. Do not doubt this. O Kunti, I beg you, be merciful and allow me to marry your son Bheema. I will carry all of you to a celestial region where you can rest for some time. While there, I will be able to sport alone with Bheema. I promise you that I will always be available to serve you and your sons. Indeed, you only have to think of me, and I will appear before you at once." Kneeling before Kunti, Hidimbi then said, "Oh, please, do not kill me by saying no. My request is in accord with virtue, and indeed, saving one's life by any means is always considered virtuous by the wise. Virtue itself protects and sustains life itself. Therefore, grant me my desire, for it is not sinful." Yudhishthir smiled. He was impressed with Hidimbi's knowledge of religion. Why, she would be a good wife for Bheema, whom Yudhishthir had noted was not above noticing her sidelong glances. Yudhishthir replied, "You have spoken well, O highly attractive lady. It must be as you say. You shall become the wife of Bheema. Remaining with him by day, you may sport with him as you please. However, at night, Bheema should always be returned to our presence." Hidimbi's face blossomed with happiness. She looked at Bheema with eyes full of love, and Bheema smiled at her and said, "Yes, I agree to this union, but I shall make one condition. As soon as you obtain a son from me, I shall depart and leave you alone, for my brothers and I have much to achieve in order to win back our father's kingdom." Hidimbi agreed, and then, assuming a large form, she carried them all to a high mountain lake called Salivahana. In that beautiful woodland region, the brothers constructed a wooden hut on the shore of the lake. There they lived peacefully. Hidimbi took Bheema with her during the daytime. She soared through the sky to celestial places and showed Bheema the numerous exquisite gardens frequented by the Siddhas and Gandharvas. There Bheema and Hidimbi lay together on the sandy banks of crystal streams covered with blue and red lotus flowers. Hidimbi also took Bheema to the land of the Guyakas, which was situated on the shore of the divine Manasa lake. Bheema saw beautiful towns full of shining mansions and palaces with groves of blossoming trees and heavenly flowers whose fragrance completely enchanted the mind. Hidimbi was as dazzling as a goddess. She adorned herself with fine gems and gold ornaments, and she constantly poured forth sweet songs. Bheema was captivated by Hidimbi, and the 7 months they enjoyed together seemed to pass as quickly as if it were only 7 days. And at the end of the 7 months, Hidimbi gave birth to a son named Gatotkacha. Within days of his birth, the boy grew to youthhood, and he took on the terrible form of a Rakshasa. His huge body was fearsome, with knotted muscles, a head as bald as a pot, terrible red eyes, a long pointed nose, and ears like sharp arrows. His chest was broad, and he stood as tall as a palm tree. Although by nature a Rakshasa, Gatotkacha was inclined to virtue, and he became a great favorite of all the Pandavas. He was devoted to their service, and the Pandavas looked upon him like a younger brother. Taught by the Pandavas, the boy quickly became proficient at weaponry and fighting. After a couple of months, Gatotkacha asked permission from his parents to leave for the northern regions where Yakshas and Rakshasas dwell. He promised the Pandavas that they need only think of him and he would return to render them any service required. After touching the feet of his mother Hidimbi and of all the Pandavas, Gatotkacha rose up to the sky and departed. So now the time had come for Bheema to leave Hidimbi. She embraced the Pandava tearfully and asked if she would ever see him again. Bheema assured her that in the future, after he and his brothers had overcome their obstacles and were free from danger, they could be reunited. Leaving Hidimbi in their mountain dwelling, the Pandavas and Kunti resumed their travels. They disguised themselves as ascetics, matting their hair and wearing tree bark garments. Bheema carried Kunti as they traveled through the many different lands. Going from forest to forest, they passed through the countries of the Matsyas, the Trigartas, and the Panchalas. But no one recognized them. Slowly they proceeded, unsure of what to expect, and always awaiting God's indication as to what they should do next. And while traveling, they studied the Vedic scriptures together, and all 5 brothers imbibed the science of morality and many other subjects described in the Vedas.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Prahlad Ahlad Dayane. Hiranya Kashipur Vakshaha. Shilatanka Nakalaye. Ito Nrsinga Bharato Nrsinho. Yato Yato Yami Tato Nrsinha. Bahi Nrsinho Hridaye Nrsinho. Nrsingham Ading Sharanang Prapadye. Avakara Kamala Vare Nakam Adbhuta Singam. Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringam. Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Keshavadrita Nrsinga Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
To love means to love Krishna.
If you don't know what to do when you're feeling blue, if you don't know what to say when you feel that way, then you know you should go to where the soul can grow, to love Krishna. No matter who you think you are, you won't go very far. There's no time to waste for that spiritual taste, and that's where you should be, and you know you shall be free to love Krishna. If you don't know what to do when you're feeling blue, if you don't know what to say when you feel that way, so don't listen to your mind. Just try yourself to find how to love Krishna. If you don't know what to say
He says that prema rathana dhana hilaya. Spiritual life means to develop real love. Everyone says love. There are so many signboards, so many papers, love, love. There is no love. This is illusion. This is all lust. Love for intoxication, love for sex, love for this. This is going. So, actual love means love, this word can be applicable only with Krishna, with God. Because we are created for that purpose. To love means to love Krishna.